Okay.
And
I'm
we're recording.
Yay! It's Monday night, our team Zoom. I'm so excited for this call. A lot of you guys didn't know that we were going to have on a special guest today. So we are Stephanie and Joel. So for those of you that are new, we are your top leader upline um, people that are just going to really pour into you. So make sure that you guys continue to stay focused and stay on these Zooms and let your teams know to jump on, because it's so important to stay connected, and you just never know what you're going to hear. And so I'm excited to introduce Cami. So for those of you that don't know her, this is Cami Pentecost, and she is my friend, my upline for some of you that don't know that or realize that, and somebody that I looked up to and still do so much from when we joined 10 years ago. So for those of you that wondered, how did we get started? Who did we follow? And who do we still follow is Cami, because something that I've learned right away is she's always been so positive, always casting a great vision. She gets that from her dad, who happens to be the CEO of our
What?
company.
No way.
So we're hoping she can just really, share some vision of what's coming. But, I think back and think, Cami, when you got started, I love the story. And I think it's important to hear how you got started. But you didn't just jump out of the gate and just everybody joined with you. And so some people feel like, man, maybe they've done it a month and they haven't signed a distributor, but you didn't sign a first distributor until you were 6 months in. So can you just share kind of your story and your position where you're at now and what that was like for you?
absolutely sorry. I had to turn the air conditioning on. I was going to start sweating on the call. You guys would be disgusted.
Oh, we're
We're like,
sweating here in Vegas. It's okay.
oh, are you in Vegas?
Yes, still, and then off to California.
Oh,
It's a tough job,
oh my
right?
gosh. Yes, but somebody has to do it, right?
Right.
Well, listen, our highlight reel doesn't always Uh-oh. Sorry, I got things going off here. I think sometimes what people see on social media, and obviously they see us on stage and they hear us do like receive the big awards and things like that, but what they don't know is the work that goes in behind the scenes. When most people are sleeping, we're still awake. When most people are hitting snooze, we've been up for an hour. And I remember when I first started and it works, the only thing I had to go from, like literally the only thing that I had to pull from my toolbox would have been, being an athlete on the different teams that I had played on and coaching, and then the teaching degree that I had gotten. And so much of it did help me. But, Steph, I had never done anything like this before. And quite frankly, the first time I joined It Works and the second time, it was out of like sheer guilt, because my dad, the company wasn't doing great, and we're a very supportive family. And so it was like, you either sign up and support me, or like I'm gonna pretend like I don't know who you are. And some of you might be like, no way. And I'm, yeah, we love hard, but we also fight hard too. So it was a tough beginning, I would say, for It Works. And I had watched my parents do well in their first at-home business, but that was the only experience I had in this industry. So when I joined the third time, and I really believe this was the time that I joined, because I knew that I needed It Works. And I truly believed at that time that It Works, that like I'd been praying for my ship to come in, and all along the ship was right there. And I just was not being attentive. I was not being obedient, whatever you want to call that. But I would also say there was a lot of fear and doubt within me. I'd watch my parents be really successful, and I was like, good for them and they can do it. But I was like, I've never done anything like this before. I've never sold anything. And so there was a lot of just things that I had to work out in my own mind, quite frankly, when I first started. But here's what I knew when I started, and I want y'all to adopt a mindset tonight if you haven't already. And I believe the minute I joined, it was never a matter of if it would work; it was just a matter of when, and it was a matter of what I had to become in order to be the person ready to have the kind of success that I wanted to have. And I had a very crystal clear goal in mind. I knew exactly what I wanted. I attached a dollar amount to it. And so, 6 months into the business, not one distributor. I had probably 15 customers by that time. Some of you would have given up on me. Some of you would have been like, yeah, that's a dud. on to the next one. And we know you've got to recruit. We know that's a big part of this game is the numbers, the science side of the business, right? But I want to remind you about the developing of people side of the business too, and really helping people catch a vision for what we do. And, I always paid attention when I was sponsoring to people that were like showing up, getting on the calls, trying, maybe not having a ton of success, but trying and doing all the things that I was saying they needed to do to be successful, because I knew at some point it was just a matter of time before the switch would go off like a trigger and they would all of a sudden, be having success. And that's just kind of what happened for me. It wasn't for lack of trying. I would definitely say it was belief in myself, the lack of self-confidence. And I believe people that you talk to about the business see that doubt and fear in you. And so I just kept personal developing. I kept showing up. I kept getting on Pam's Monday night calls, Mark and Pam's Sunday night calls. And I just kept listening for something that I felt if I did that in my backyard, my business would work, And so it took me 6 months to sign a distributor. And honestly, it wasn't even my own personal lead. It was a referral. My mom and dad had met Dave and Debbie at a hotel, and they get back home, and my dad's like, this girl won't stop calling me. And he's like, do you think you could call her? She wants a wrap. Well, I converted her from wanting a wrap to making some money because she knew enough people that wanted to try it too. So that's when mine began. But I got to tell you guys something really funny. He didn't give me the enrollership on her.
Well, that is hilarious.
He kept the enrollership on her.
So
he
good.
kept it direct to the company. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That is too funny.
And so it just goes to show you, like, he didn't give me nothing. And I'm so glad he didn't give me nothing, because it made me who I am today. It made me a hard worker, and it made me appreciate things so much more. So, many of you may not have known, but for the years that I built in the field, my last name was Dempsey. Nobody knew I was a Pentecost. Nobody knew. And I would even get messages saying, how do you get an invite to Mark's house for Christmas? I've got that multiple times because people really had no idea that he was my dad. But, Stephanie, the journey never looks like what we want it to look like. But I promise you, when you have the right focus and you have the right perspective, it will all fall in line. And when it does, you'll be immeasurably more blessed than what you thought would happen, and just because I was hitting and doing really well in certain seasons didn't mean I didn't have very, very dry seasons as well, that I had to face myself again, the fear, oh my gosh, can I do this again? And so it's a constant ongoing process to be growing your belief, to be working on that mindset, but the consistency of planting seeds, growing your network every day, reaching out, building the relationship, sharing what it works is. Something isn't working, let's tweak it and try something different, and it's been an interesting 14 years, but I have enjoyed every step of the way.
So I love that, because I wrote a few things down, and I knew that she would go this way, guys. I've been around for a while, so I wanted to have you guys write this down. So I wrote, attitude changes your perspective, and then perspective equals your mindset. So you're going to want to write these down. How I view things is how we do things. And so there's so many times in life that Cammie, myself, top leaders have had some things not go our way, but how did we view it? How did we work through those? How did we learn from it and grow from it? The second one would be change the way we look at things. So that I just said that a little bit. And then what I believe about life is what I receive from life. And so, do you really believe that you are worthy of that life? We believe in you. Just think about this. If you have kids, you think they can do the world. And so why don't we think about that with ourselves? Why don't we just think and take that belief into ourselves? So for those of you that have kids, that's just something that just, put that and switch it around you. And then anticipation. Guys, this is the thing, is that anticipation is so crucial. And so with anticipation also is procrastination, because the only reason that you would procrastinate is because you don't believe something good will come from it. And so do you believe talking to a potential, how excited are you? You know all the lives that can change. You know the amazing products that we have that you can offer them, and and ask them, or maybe turn it into a host to post. So just be that so excited. So that's what you hear. I just love Mel McFarland because she's always just so excited, and it's contagious. And so, are you guys excited for what's coming and all that? So thank you for sharing just a little piece of that, because I was hoping that you would go. I kind of thought that you'd go through that perspective, that mindset, and how important that really is. And when your mind is right, your business is right. And so it's so good. But with that too, how do we develop that? How do we get belief? And the easiest thing, I think, Cammie, is taking the product, right? You start taking it, you start seeing how you feel, and people start noticing it, and it's easy to talk about. So always, me and Joel are always constantly talking about being in the product of the product. So with this new product, I know you said a little bit on the call, but this Just Salary, I love, you guys. I feel like this is a new company. Since Mark, decided to bring out ThermoFi X the end of December, I just feel like there's something constantly new. And it's like you said, it's easy to talk about. It's opening the doors for new things. So, Cammie, with the new product, being around for as long as you have, do you feel like something is different?
Oh, well, a couple things, as we segue into the product piece, one of the things I've always admired about you, Joel and Steph, I know you got some new before and afters out there, but Joel, about every, maybe 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, you come out with a new before and after. So I always have admired that about you guys, because as long as we've been in, we have to, right? Because we got to show people we continue to use the product. But, some of you might be saying, well, I don't have a before and after right now, but there's so many out there from your team members that you can be like, I know this person, I know what she did. And I'm telling you, and somebody having those kind of results, you can't help but scream it from the rooftops. And that just naturally breeds enthusiasm because you've got confidence. And, I'm not Mel McFarland. I'm so excited. But if you ask me to describe myself in one word, I would say contagious. And that's because I'm so passionate about what we get to do. And I just feel like we've got to share it with everybody. And it's not our job to decide if they're going to do it. All our job is to, offer, and then they get to decide what they're going to do with it. And you'll be amazed how more people will want it than you ever thought. And if they don't want it right now, they will want it. They just might not want it yet. And so, I think probably if you're asking yourself, I know I need more confidence, I know I need more belief. We're going to talk about the product here in just a minute, but I want you to know that the events has done it for me every time. And more than the tips that are shared on stage, it's the stories of real people having success. Some are going from rags to riches, but others are just changing their life $500 a month at a time. And it's mind-blowing and so exciting what people have been able to do. So stay connected, because I'm telling you, those stories is what's going to keep you radically connected to what you're doing. And it's pretty special that we get to help people in the way that we get to help them. So getting to events and being on the calls just to hear the stories, they don't get old. As a matter of fact, you're like, my gosh, another life has changed, or more dozens of lives has changed, and you just can't help but want to get out there and be a part of that movement.
Yeah,
so,
we heard that at the Try It in Vegas again. It's just sometimes you hear like all of a sudden these lightning speed people that have just got to the top, and then you hear people like Jocelyn Yates, who she sat with the business and promoted executive in 9 months. So we don't know. It is that connection, getting them on calls, having that community. And Cammie, I was just talking about that with Pam. The reason we're on the road is so I can meet you. I know the importance of sitting with you, having one-on-one. Maybe it's a group, maybe it's a dinner. It doesn't always have to be something, but you can start now too. Even if you have one team member, even if you have a couple sidelines, and you can say, who's in my area, meet up, go have coffee together. Because when you are doing things together, people naturally are like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what's this work that you're doing? So that community, staying close to the fire, is so, so key. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about products. And I just want you guys to know, one thing that you can hang your hat on about It Works is the family foundation that you've partnered with. And, I know we're not blood relatives, Joel and Steph, but it sure feels like we are, And so when I think about how It Works has evolved in the last 18 years, I think about it started with the wrap. It, It Works was founded with the It Works crazy wrap thing. And while 18 years, there's nothing else out there on the market like it. We've evolved and added to our line, but how did we do that? And why did we add what we added? Well, the vitamin line was the first thing we added back in the day. And that was because Mark had a horrible doctor's appointment and they said, you need a good vitamin. And he said, well, what do you recommend? They said, I don't know, but you're only going to live once, so you better make it a good one. And nobody could help him find that. And so as he was on his own personal journey, all of a sudden, the Lord opened the door for a good vitamin line. Well, obviously things are evolving and people are drinking things more than they're taking pills. And, let's talk about just celery here for a minute. I mean, I started juicing celery privately, personally, because I've got some health things that I've been battling, and I've been working at all the natural things I could do to help, in addition to who doesn't want to lose weight, who doesn't want better skin, who doesn't want like their digestive tract to be completely healthy. And, the list of all the benefits of celery is unbelievable, but I just took a 30-day challenge, 10 ounces a day. And I had such radical changes, in addition to the fact that it's such a buzzword and it's popping up everywhere now. So my parents got on board, and genuinely, when you reached out and said, oh my gosh, are we getting a celery product? No, we weren't. That was never a part of the plan. But because of the benefits we saw in our own bodies and how it helped us, we realized there is not a celery product out there for people who live busy lives, on the go, traveling. And so the only time I got frustrated with juicing truly was when I was traveling for long periods of time and I couldn't do it. And so, that's how celery evolved, kind of like how keto evolved with Mark and some of the health he's had. So it truly is products that we need every single day. And, based on how we feel, we just get to share them. And there is so much confidence in that. There's so much enthusiasm. And I don't know about you guys, but when you've ate at a good restaurant or you've seen a great movie, you can't help but pick up the phone or text somebody and be like, you got to see this. And that's what we get to do with these products. And so I'm telling you, celery is a game changer product. It is like cutting edge front of the trend right now. And I'm excited that we get to have a hand in that. It's very, very special. And I'll tell you, I've been with It Works for 14 years. I got off that live on Monday of last week or Tuesday, whenever we went live and announced the product. I got off the live and I had 3 private messages from people that have been a part of my life all 14 years, never wanted to buy any product in the line up till this point. And all 3 of them said, I want to try just celery. I didn't even have to ask them. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be asking your people, but I'm just saying we've now just opened your network up to a massive amount of more people. And it's really special, very, very special. And
I love that, the celery. So Joel's hitting me like he's going to say something. Okay. I'm like waiting.
So along with that thought process of just celery, on the VIP call today, Mark talked about his magic wand product. Explain that magic wand product and how each time we get a new product, it's a magic wand. I think that's something that everybody on here would love to learn.
Well, I think, and Joel, there might be parts of what he said that stood out differently than what, stood out to me. But, for me, I believe that every time something new, whether it's a promotion, a product, or a story that is just like jaw-dropping, we all of a sudden have something new to talk about, and we have something new to share. And we're creatures of habit, right? And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get bored sharing the same thing. And so when Mark and the team are bringing out products as often as they've been bringing, it gives us just a new conversation. It's like a new business tool. And I remember when we brought the Success magazine in, and oh my gosh, that lit a fire in our business for a while, because we were like 2 a day to keep 10 in play, right?
Oh my gosh.
Make sure that there was.
Yes.
And so I say that, because right now the focus is celery. But when you're talking about celery, it opens the door to keto coffee again. And we go right back to collagen. And then, oh my gosh, Thermophyte X. I'm telling you, I am not saying this on Facebook. Y'all, I lost 6 pounds last week because I was back on my celery juice and I was doing 20 ounces a day, dropped 6 pounds like that. And, was I doing Thermophyte X? Yep. Was I doing collagen? Yep. but I'd been doing that all the week before too. And there's something about how the celery just clears the way and makes it where we can absorb things better. And now we have the cleanse too. And so obviously it's a conversation starter that helps lead in to so many other things that we can offer people. And I love how we're talking about routines, wake up, take your celery, 30 minutes later, you can have your keto coffee. And then maybe in the afternoon, you have your BFF, hydrate, keto energy. Don't forget to drink your collagen before you go to bed at night. And it's just such a great program. So simple. And
yeah,
I'm excited.
I love that.
10 pounds lighter in another week and a half. I know it.
And you know what's crazy, guys, is this is just a simple tip that I kind of tweaked it a little bit from Marwa, but go and pick up a magazine or something, a health magazine or whatever at a grocery store if you're there, because I picked one up. I'm always traveling, so I like to just pick up things. So I was picking up a magazine. In the magazine, I can't remember which one it was, but it had talked about the hot trending product, apple cider vinegar, which is now in our cleanse. And I took that article, I took a snapshot, and I put it in with a picture of the cleanse. Now celery, in that same magazine, celery juice. I was just like, I love it works. They are paying attention to the product, the trending, what do people want, and how simple it is. So you guys, we're not crazy. It really is out there. And so people love that third party information. And so I'd love to send, a little snippet of an article that I read. So it's not just coming from me. So that's just something as we are talking about the product. I know you guys love it. You try it, but having some information like that, and you guys can Google it and find it and stuff. But, that's just something that is easy to just do and incorporate. So I'm excited. Is there anything else coming that you just are like, I'm so excited for this?
Oh my gosh, you guys, we have like 2 more lines of product coming by the end of this year. And that's just going to be the new trend, is we're going to bring products to market quickly. I wouldn't be surprised. Probably another selling point to your customers is they got to be a customer to get first dibs on things, because, some, if they're test products, like we said, celery was, there may not be a promise of a reorder, or it may just be a test. Let's see how our population loves this product and if it's a fit for our company. And so I really like that because things are moving very, very quickly today. And, I think probably one of the reasons, and Joel and Steph, you guys are so in alignment with this. I know Pam is, I know Mike is. Part of the reason we're so on trend is because we all are really into health. We're really into beauty and how can we take better care of ourselves? And we think outside the box about it. We're not thinking about like the traditional way that people say things have to be done. And so I think that's what's keeping us cutting edge is the people that we have leading this company is a group of people that's very passionate about their health, very passionate about making money and stewardship. And I think that that's just another reason as to why we're doing what we do. And I'm telling you, nobody in the industry is doing what we're doing right now. And it just gets me very excited because, some people have seen us and they've, okay, that's women in wraps, but they're going to see us again. They're going to see us again in a big way. And even if they let us pass them by the first time, they won't make that mistake twice. And so, I want you to think about people that you've talked to about this business. For those of you that maybe have been in for a couple months or even a couple of years that weren't ready at that time, it might be time to revisit that person and just let them know, we're a different company today. And I want you to take a look at what we have. And we're still family owned, faith-based. We're not this big corporation and everybody's faceless to us, nameless to us. We really care about our people. That's our number one product. But
and we're debt free, guys. Mark said today there was like 10 companies that shut down. We're not going anywhere. We're debt free company. That's so key in this. And he also said 40% up, guys. That's huge. Like in our industry, that's such a big deal. So making sure that we're aware of that. And then also, like Cammie said, going back to people that maybe you've thought of and letting them know they have never done this before, where you join in July and you have till November 30th. It's almost 5. I'm saying almost 5 months because I like to really, I'm almost. And that's a big deal. We never had that. So to be able to have that, to to stack the bonuses, not just one, guys. They're not limited to one. They could stack that and really get to work. And really, when we look at the charts and the comp plan and how different it is, if you have been in a while, or you're in and you're like, well, maybe they did it years ago, you don't know. So don't be afraid to just let them know all of the new things that It Works has brought to the table, because it's just so exciting. So I love that.
The other thing that I want to point out on that too that Mark said today is, since we've changed the compensation plan from 5 to 3, this year we've had more promotions in 18 years so far this year than we've had in any other year prior.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows you how amazing and how fast people can get these bonuses.
So that's the duplication, guys, keeping it simple, pulling out your steps to success. I think back and Cammie didn't have this at the beginning. So, and we've seen so much more through our years too.
We could do a whole Zoom on back on our day.
Yeah. But knowing that, just to keep it simple, you guys, it's so easy. You join, you print out your steps to success, you get out that chart. We take the product. So making sure your auto ship is set up. Me and Joel joke because we know that our auto ship should be like $1,000. Like, it's ridiculous because we love the product so much. So we're like, shouldn't everybody have like 1,000 baby auto ship?
I take these products like I'm a professional athlete and I'm getting paid to take them.
Yes.
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 Oh wait, I am.
Yes. And then, offering it to people. And that's the thing, is you're building your business through those steps to success. So I love that we've done that, right, Cammie? It's so easy to keep it duplicatable worldwide and any language, So tell us a little bit about, if you have something on steps to success for us.
I think the biggest thing I just want to remind you guys is that, we get paid to bring in new customers and new distributors. But the next piece of that is helping those people, gather their customers and start building their team and rank up. That's where you really start to win, is when you're duplicating your efforts. And so as much as we praise and shout out how many customers, how many distributors, let's make sure we're celebrating people that are completing their steps, because that's what's really going to lead to the true duplication in your organization. And I said last night, and I'll say it again, there have been many times in my business where every night of the week, and sometimes multiple times in one day, I was doing sip and samples or 3-way calls. And it was just like, it didn't matter how hard I was working. I had literally, I was at capacity with my own schedule. Imagine having 5 or 6 other people doing sip and samples, 3-way calls, live try-its, every day of the week, all month long. That's leverage of your time, and that's what you want happening. And so, again, I want to remind you, we want to be bringing in new people, always, always, always. But we've got to remember the art of duplication, and that is the foundation of that is the steps to success. It's and I love telling people to model the right behavior. The best part about what we do is, I got to go out and sign new customers and distributors. So why don't we do it together? So you actually see how I'm doing it, because I think sometimes without seeing it modeled for us, we overcomplicate it, and don't be afraid to practice as you build. You can learn while you earn. And, I remember when there was a season in my business where I was doing tons and tons of expos, and I had no flipping idea what kind of follow-up phone call might actually get somebody to want to sign up or become a customer. I had no idea. So guess what I did? I just tried different things. And all of a sudden, when one thing was working, I did that one more. And then that's how I developed something that all of a sudden we were doing throughout the whole organization when it came to follow up with our events like that. And so I say that to say, as you've got people commenting on your posts, whether it's a hosted post, whether it's a story, and you've got a lot of engagement, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to, experiment a little bit to see what people are biting on, because I that's when we learn and that's when we grow. And so that was a huge piece for me. And then Steph, I know you and Joel are also huge advocates of this. And I just want you guys to know, if you want to be a leader in this company, you have to be a reader. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No shortcuts. I was soaking up not just like mind growth type books, but also skill set books, and whether it was learning about branding, whether it was learning everyone communicates if you connect, whether it was people don't know how much you care until they They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How to win friends and influence people for the digital age, social media books, direct selling books, how to rock your network marketing business. I was consuming as much as I could get my hands on, because success leaves clues.
Mm-hmm.
And people that are having success are going to be able to teach you something that why, if it's working there, can it not work here? Mm-hmm. Just put your personality to it, and you'll find a handful of things that you go, I'm never going to do that again. But you're learning through that whole process, and that's how you're growing. And at the end of the day, if you don't cut corners on the fact that, build your list every day, grow your list, keep developing a relationship with those people on your list, following up every single day. How many times are you sharing what It Works is, whether you're letting them sip and sample, whether you're on a phone call sharing a story, but you're truly giving people a bigger glimpse of what it is. Joel always says, he talks about it often, the size of your harvest is determined by the amount of seeds you're planting. And if you're consistently planting seeds every single day, there will be no shortage of harvest. There'll be seasons where more harvest is happening just because that's a normal thing, but there will never be a season where you're just absolutely cold, because you're always planting. And part of the planting is tilling the soil, right? And it's weeding around it. Well, that's the developing your people. That's your personal development. That's your team times, your power hours, your trainings, and your working power hours. Because we know we can sit around and train all day long, but we got to take action too. So, Steph, there's not one part of this business I don't love. And yet I can't tell you how many times I've looked in the mirror and thought, maybe you've done the best you can do, and you were a one or a two hit wonder. And if you're having doubts like that, well, you're in good company, because we as Black Diamonds, we have those doubts too. Mm-hmm. And you might think that we just sit around all day with all the confidence in the world. We've got more practice and more experience, and that builds a little bit of a thicker muscle, if you know what I mean, when it comes to trusting the process. But that doesn't mean we still don't have anxiety, and we don't still wonder, oh my gosh, every time they came out with a new contest, which Joel and Steph, you never seem to fall short of achieving those, but man, every time a contest would come out, I'd be like, whoo, here we go. I'd pretend like I was a brand new distributor, and I'd get out there and get after it again. But anyways, I'll take a breath so you can jump in there.
Yeah, no, that is so good, guys, because, we talked about the mindset and not giving up and learning, and not everybody's real quick to just jump out, but knowing that you're doing the activity, not the thinking part, but that activity to get you to where you want to be, it'll start to happen. So make sure that, you do pull out your steps to success. Where do you want to go? Are you writing that down? And, we love to do these Zooms. There's so many trainings out there, like Cammie said, but it really comes down to putting in the work. And guys, it happens to me all the time. People tell me no, they don't answer me. And I'm not going to let that stop them from where I'm going. And I think that's the best, advice that I could give to you is know where you're going with or without them. This is a business, right? So we want you to know that's what you got to do is you just got to put all of this knowledge that you just learned into action, and that just starts getting you closer to whatever that goal is that you have in mind. And I sure hope it's ambassador. Like, that's what I want for everybody. I know that we've got plenty of room for a lot more ambassadors. We're hearing promotions, we're hearing people doing it. We've got it simplified, we've got the product, we've got the leadership. And so I just love that Cammie joined us today, just to really, kind of share a little bit of who she was, that it's not always easy, but it's worth it. And that we're still constantly learning too. And I think that's how you're in good company with good leadership, is that we're always willing to learn and to share and to grow with you. And so, Joel, do you have anything?
No.
Wow.
Awesome.
I can't believe Joel doesn't have anything
I've got
on that.
tons of stuff, but I'll save it for later.
But Cammie, any last minute,
Well,
share?
Steph, I was looking in the chat room, and there are a lot of brand new distributors on here tonight. I was super impressed by that. And I think if I could just leave you with one thing tonight as a brand new distributor is, you don't need to know everything to get started. Mm-hmm. And probably the best way for you to learn and earn your way into some of that money, you're setting that goal for yourself, is to just do it. is to just get out there and try. And I can promise you're going to look back one day and go, oh, that was scary. But you know what? You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Wrong, right, whatever I just said there. I think you guys know what I mean.
It sounds good.
I want to release you from that. Just, we've said a lot here tonight, but what you need to leave here with is I need to get 4 loyal customers, and I need to go out and find 3 people that are interested in this business that want to change their life. And because you guys, whether it's $200 a month, $500 a month, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 a month, that's life changing for somebody in their family. And so, don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay. And if the person you reach up to isn't helping, then reach up higher than them, and ask your questions and ask them what they did to get their first 4 loyal customers. I didn't really have a sponsor in this business, but I didn't use that as an excuse as to not being able to build this business. I got knowledge wherever I could grab it from. And then I just started trying. That's it. I just started trying. And here's what I can tell you. After 14 years in the business, I would rather have somebody that is outworking other people versus somebody that might have all the talent in the world. Because what I realize is I want to lock arms with people who aren't afraid to hustle, who aren't afraid to get their knees dirty, and they're willing to go to work. And, it might not look the way we want it to look right away, but it will. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And so get crystal clear about what it is you want. Start using these products, and then let's print off those steps of success and start filling that out for the first time. And for those of you that aren't brand new, guess what? Print off your steps of success. It's time to start filling that out this month. If you haven't completed it yet, make that your goal.
Yes. So good. That was a question. I had that one last question on there, but you kind of answered it is, I think we all think back of what would we do differently? And I think Cammie just said it, is she would have talked to more people probably sooner, not knowing anything, but just knowing that there's an opportunity and we have the support. You have team. I mean, it's so different, guys. You have team pages. I didn't have that. Cammie didn't have that. You have so much in your hands. It's whether or not you're going to utilize it or not, and we want you to. So, Cammie, thank you so much. I know you're out on the road, crazy busy, so this is a treat, and she knows I rarely ask for anything.
No, you said, will you? I said, you had me at will you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just a doer. I just figure it out. That's who I've always been. This is what we do. We put in distributors and customers. So it was an honor to have you on. I appreciate it so much. I can see from the comments that they're excited. I can't wait to hear after, but go show Cammie some love on her page after this, because it's a big deal to have her on with us. And
you guys did remind me of a quote.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
I knew it. I knew Joel was gonna
that last section there.
Okay.
So we're talking about the difference between thinking and doing. So think of this. We are in the age of information. Everything is at our fingertip with Google. Well, if we're in the age of information and information was king, then how come everybody isn't millionaires? It's what you do with that information that causes the wealth, that causes the change, that causes you to become and grow. It's what you do with it. It's not the information itself. It's not the knowing. It's always about the doing.
Yep. So good. So with that, I won't keep you any longer. We're pretty quick, like 30 to 40 minute Zooms, because we like to learn and just really get to work. But again, make sure you guys jump on again next Monday night. We'll see you again at 8 p.m. Eastern. 9 o'clock, jump on Pam's Zoom. It's going to be an amazing Monday night call with new ambassadors, Mike Lemire on there, and I can't wait to hear from him. So everybody, let's go have an amazing week, and we'll see you next Monday. Thanks, Cammie.
Good night, everyone.
Somebody must have got